What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today, we're going to be talking about the support effects that are dropping on September 14th at 1 AM PST time. Honestly, that's a really weird time for them to have support effects drop, because I believe typically they arrive around news time, I think. Or maybe at like, 4 AM, but 1 AM is like a super weird time for that to drop. Either way, there are like heaps of support effects. We're not going through all of them in this video today. Massive shout out to Godot on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord for arranging these characters into different categories. You got a lot of them are stat boosting ones, which we're not going to talk about. We want to talk about the unique support effects, ones that you would consider actually using in content. Stat boosting ones, they're dime a dozen. Like stat boosting ones are not difficult to come by, whereas like the very unique abilities, those are the ones we need to talk about, discuss whether they're good or not, whether they're worth using support medals on. But as I always say, you should never use support medals on a character straight away. You should only use support medals on characters when you need that specific effect, so that you'll always have medals available to get whatever support effect you need for that specific piece of content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So we're here on the One Piece Treasure Cruise database. A link to it is down below in the description, of course. So once again, massive shout out to Godot. He's left IDs for each of these characters that we can talk about right here. So the first character that we're going to talk about is Boa Hancock, which of course is a character that essentially never sees play anymore. But let's see if her support effect actually makes her usable in any way, shape, or form. So let's go ahead, scroll down to the bottom. Her support effect attaches to Luffy, Sandersonia, and Marigold. Okay. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses their special, recovers 2,500 health, and then left column slots are changed into matching. That's okay. I mean, obviously with Luffy, there's lots of good supports for Luffy these days. So, I don't know, because potentially you would need like the utility effects like Ivankov to remove poison, or version 1 Rayleigh to remove bind, despair, and paralysis. So I don't really know how often you're going to be utilizing this. Plus, if you're ever using Boa Sandersonia or Marigold, you're typically using them to support one another, so you can get the self-proccing effect. So again, it really depends on the situation that you're in, but to get just 2,500 health back and then half of your team getting matching slots, that's not a terrible effect at all. So yeah, I don't know how usable it's going to be, but a small HP recovery is kind of nice. I don't think it's worth using support medals on. I don't really think there's any piece of content where you dedicated need this character. So it's okay for now, but I don't think it's like the most broken support effect in the game. It's just okay. It's just okay. So the next support character is Rob Lucci, version 1 Rob Lucci, who again is a character that essentially never sees play. So I really hope that he has a good support effect, because his captain and special are not very good. And it's going to be any powerhouse character, and it's just stats, as well as damage reduction. 5% damage reduction against Dex, and adds 13% of his base attack. If it was all stats, it would be a bit better. But just his attack is added to any powerhouse character. Again, stat boosting effects are a dime a dozen. Like, there's plenty of stat boosting abilities in the game. So unfortunately, Rob Lucci, he just, again, just is not a great character, unfortunately. Next support effect we'll have a look at is version 1 Trafalgar Law, who actually is a really good character. This guy is really nice, very unique with his effect. So let's see what his support ability is. His support will attach to Luffy or Corazon, and once per adventure, when you reach the final stage, recovers 3,000 HP and reduce the cooldown of the supported character by 1 turn. That's okay, actually, because obviously, if there's any situation where your characters get special reversed, this can counter that, and also just getting health back is also kind of nice. Depending on the team composition, you may need there's a small touch of health back, and you can get that with this effect. I don't think it's like a really good effect, but it's just okay once again. Unfortunately, none of these support effects that we've gone through yet have been really mind-blowing. Okay, I just had a look at the next one, and yeah, the next one, this is one of the best support effects in the game. I'm not even kidding. So this is V2 Trafalgar Law. This character is insane. So he only attaches to Corazon, unfortunately, but with how good it is, it will go ahead and state once per adventure when the supported character uses their special, amplifies the effects of orbs of all characters by 1.75 times for 1 turn. That's amazing, because we already know Corazon, I mean specifically Legend Corazon, is one of the better utility effect units in the game. You get healing and you remove 3 turns of a bunch of different debuffs. And now Corazon can have a support effect, which not only do you heal and remove a bunch of debuffs, but you also get an orb boost on top of it. This is so good. This is one of those ones that I think I'm probably going to use support medals on straight away, because, especially because, you know, recently we had the co-op Kizuna clash against Gecko Moria. A lot of people have, you know, excess amounts of the support medals. So this is amazing, as I said, because Corazon, especially with Legend Corazon, not only having all of his amazing effects, but him being a free spirit and cerebral character, means he's put on a lot of different teams. And, I mean, yeah, obviously Corazon is really good as a support unit himself, but now you can actually run him on the team and get lots of beneficial effects from it. So massive, massive support effect right there from V2 Lore. And obviously this does pertain to his unevolved version as well. So this is the 6-star version, the one we just looked at was 6-star plus. And this guy does have the exact same support effect. So obviously there's no real reason to max 2 of them, because it's the same effect and you can't stack them both on a team. But either way, amazing support effect. The next one is Legend Garp. I have no idea what Legend Garp's support is. I would hope it's a chain locking effect, but we'll go ahead and have a look. And it's going to be Kobe, Helmeppo, and Aokiji. Once per adventure, when the enemy inflicts you with Special Bind, reduce it by 3 turns. Okay, that's okay, I suppose. Again, I don't really think there's any Kobe, Helmeppo, or Aokiji that removes Special Bind, but I guess, you know, depending on the situation, you could just remove Special Bind on the character to launch their special to give you a really good beneficial effect, and that will allow you to bypass anything that stage would throw at you. So like V3 Aokiji or V2 Aokiji could give you humongous boosting effects, as well as just blasting through the content. And then for Kobe and Helmeppo, I mean, the only other good units of these guys is like the dual unit Kobe and Helmeppo. They're okay, and like limited rare recruit Kobe is also pretty good. But outside of that, there aren't really too many good Kobe characters. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this support effect overall. I really wish it was like when the character launches a special, get a 3 times chain lock, very similar to Guild Tesoro's support effect. I wish it was something like that. That would be amazing. Next one is V2 Jinbe. Okay, V2 Jinbe. Let's have a look at this guy. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of this guy. He does have a super evolution on JP, which is a little underwhelming for my liking, but let's have a look at what his support effect is. So his support will support any strength, dex, or psi character, and annoyingly enough, it is more stat boosting effects. 5% quick damage reduction and 9% of his base stats. So that's a little better. You know, HP attack and recovery is added to the unit, so that is a little better. Are there any other good Jinbes that are supporters? I guess like Side Jinbe for the chain boost. He's like the only other Jinbe that I ever use as a support. So I guess it's okay. Okay, that's not too bad in terms of stat booster, because there aren't like too many good Jinbes in the game. There's a few good ones, but ones that you'd use really often, yeah, that's okay, I suppose. And the last legend that we're having a look at, or Sugo-Fest exclusive, is Soul King Brook. So with Brook, his support effect will state that he attaches to Pedro, Luffy, Nami, Kara, and Chopper. So essentially the Whole Cake Island crew, and adds 13% of his attack and recovery to the supported unit. That is pretty good. That is actually pretty good. Adding 13% of his base recovery is quite large, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. 13%. Yeah, that's well, that's a Limit Break expansion, but either way, I like it, you know, considering that's a lot of attack and recovery that can add it to a lot of different characters. Yeah, that's not too bad for a stat booster, even though it is a stat booster. I wish it was like maybe significant damage reduction and heal or something like that, but either way, it's Legend Brook. So there are a couple of rare recruit characters that also got support effects that are unique styled effects. So let's go ahead and break those ones down as well before we end this video. So the first one is Capone, which is the old quick rare recruit Capone. You can see his ID 365. So yeah, extremely old character. His support effect: Chiffon, Vito, and Gotti. That's not too bad, I suppose. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses their special, changes block orbs on shooter characters into matching. Okay, that is actually really good. So Vito and Gotti, those rare recruits aren't super amazing, unfortunately, but Chiffon is very, very good. So I could definitely see this being used on a shooter team, because Chiffon has like a really good utility effect. So if you're in a situation where you'll get given block orbs and like attack down, or block orbs and what else does she remove? Paralysis or whatever it is. You can use her special to remove the debuffs, and then the support gets rid of the block orbs and changes them into matching. That's pretty good. And look, this is an older style rare recruit, so the chances of getting this character, I guess, aren't like super low. So that's not too bad, honestly. I like it. That's a pretty good support effect, honestly. So if you get any more copies of this quick rare recruit Capone, make sure to start feeding him. Next one is this Dex Kine'mon. Okay, honestly, I've never used this Dex Kine'mon for anything. So I hope that his support effect makes him a little better. So it only attaches to Momo. That's a big downfall because there's basically no good Momos in the game. There's the rare recruit one, and there's like a treasure map rare recruit one. There's like a Fortnite one. They're all like really bad. So what does it do? Once per adventure, when the supported character uses a special, changes supported character's orb into a matching orb and reduces. Wow. Oh, that's nice. If it was just the orb manipulation, that would really suck. But reducing burn, huh? I wish it was 3 turns. Or if it was 3 turns, it'd be absolutely goated. But reducing 2 turns of burn, that is not terrible, but a little niche for my liking. But again, if you get copies of this guy in the future, make sure to save him for his support effect. The next one is, well, speaking of Momonosuke, is the rare recruit Momonosuke. So again, a character that is pretty bad. So his support effect attaches to Nami, Robin, and Kine'mon. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses their special, adds 0.3 to the chain for 1 turn. So it's essentially like, it's a slightly buffed version of the Sai Rare Recruit Jinbe support. The only difference is that Sai Rare Recruit Jinbe can be put on any fighter or powerhouse character, whereas this character can only be put on Nami, Robin, and Kine'mon characters. But a 0.3 chain boost for free is nice. So I don't think I'll use support medals on it, but if you get more copies, once again, make sure to save them for this character. Next one is Raizo. Again, more Wano Kuni characters. So with Raizo, he's a character that still sees play every now and again. He's a special bind remover and stuff, which is kind of cool. Reduces paralysis as well, which is nice. So his support attaches to Dogstorm, Cat Viper, Kine'mon, Momo, and Kanjuro. Once per adventure, when you're inflicted with special bind or paralysis, reduce it by 2 turns. And I assume that this will only pertain to the supported character and not your whole team. Dude, if this was your whole team, this would be absolutely broken. So I would expect this to be only for the supported character, which is still okay. Are there any special bind removers that are these characters? I feel like there's a Kanjuro maybe that removes it. Okay, but one good thing about this character is he attaches to a lot of like decent units. Like there's lots of good Dogstorms, lots of good Cat Vipers. Kine'mon, there's a couple of good ones. Momo is not very good, but there's a couple of good Kanjuros as well. So this is pretty good. I like it, but not my favorite support effect in the game. Next one is going to be Gangsta Gastino. This guy is a self-proccing poison conditional booster, and his support effect only attaches to Capone. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses their special, boost attack against poisoned and strongly poisoned enemies by 1.5 for 1 turn. Okay, that's super interesting. Are there any characters that are shooter characters that inflict poison? Because I know there's like Colosseum Magellan, but he's like a self-proccing, right? But are there any other like poisoners that are like somewhat good? Like I can't think of any off the top of my head. So the only other poisoners you've got Colosseum Magellan, but I think he only inflicts Toxic, which is not what Gangsta Gastino will give you the boost against. Does this guy boost does this guy do it as well? Poisons all enemies. Okay, so you could use like the dual Magellan and Hannibal character. This guy's a self-proccing one, of course. The Raid Magellan can be used, or the Kizuna Magellan can be used. Okay, so there's a couple of different units you can use in order to inflict poison, and then use the support effect of the Gangsta Gastino on Capone. So you can build a shooter team based around that, so you can get a self-proccing like conditional boost off of that, plus an attack boost with Legend Capone. So okay, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but I'll admit it's not an effect that you're going to be using too often, unfortunately. And the last of the rare recruit characters to go through in this video is going to be Brannew. I was a big fan of this character when he first released, and it's just he hasn't really gotten worse. It's just that there's been so many characters that have just come out that have been better than this unit. So he does like a lot of good utility effects and beneficial orb enable, which is okay. So his support effect is only for Sengoku. So realistically, the only good Sengoku character is maybe Garp and Sengoku if you're using them, or the quick rare recruit one. So he will add 5% of his stats to the supported unit, and then when the character hits a perfect, reduces Rainbow Shield by 1 turn. Okay, that's good. That's really good, actually. I wish it was 2 turns, but, you know, 1 turn, you know, you can't complain about that for a generic rare recruit. I like it. Once again, make sure to get copies of this unit in the Sugo-Fest, start saving them, start using them, get his support effect max. You know, just being able to reduce an additional turn of Rainbow Shield is super valuable, so you never know when you're going to need it, but that's a pretty good effect to have. But overall, that is going to wrap up all of the support effects that we're going to talk about in this video. But as I mentioned, there's like hundreds of these support effects now, but unfortunately most of them are just generic, you know, add 5%, 6%, 3%, 4% stats, whatever it is, to characters, which is not really that exciting to talk about. But I think this is definitely hands down the most significant support effect that we talked about in this video today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave down below in the comments what your favorite support effect that we talked about in this video was. As I said, I think this guy's probably my favorite, and really looking forward to using him with Corazon. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.